Okay. Good evening, everybody. Can everybody hear me in the room? Excellent. Thank you. Have you got anybody online? No. Nobody online. Welcome to Portishead Town Council council meeting for Wednesday, the 8th of November. Nice to see so many of you have turned up this evening, which is a pleasant surprise. So thank you. Okay, so we will get into the agenda. So item 1 on the agenda is the chairman's welcome. We just need to go through a few bits of housekeeping. Fire safety. We're not expecting any fire alarm test this evening. So if the alarms do go off, then please assume it is a genuine one. We need to exit the building. Fire exits are clearly marked. The assembly point is over in the car park opposite. Also, just want to make a note that about recording. So subject to Standing Order 4.1.3, a person who attends a meeting is permitted to report on the meeting whilst the meeting is open to the public. To report means to film, photograph, make an audio recording of the meeting proceedings, use other means for enabling persons not present to see or hear the meeting as it takes place or later, or to report or to provide oral written commentary about the meeting, so that the report or commentary is available as the meeting takes place or later to persons not present. Further detail is given in the Portishead Town Council Filming and Recording Policy, Policy C8, and Portishead Town Council Behavioural Policy 4.1.3. A person present at the meeting may not provide any oral report or oral commentary about the meeting as it takes place without permission. So what that means is we're not stopping anybody from filming, but if they could just make the chair aware that they're going to film, and then everybody in the room is aware, and if they do not wish to be filmed, then they can either leave or whatever. And then also, if we've got quite a few residents here, which, like I said, is wonderful, so thank you. If you do want to speak, we ask for you to step up to the microphone. There's a button on there. There's a little red light that comes on, just so as we can capture what it is that you're saying. If you speak from those seats, our audio system doesn't pick it up, so we won't have any record of it. Okay. The meeting is being recorded, as you heard. It started a while ago, and that recording will be made available after the meeting is closed. Okay. Item 2 on the agenda, apologies for absence. To receive and consider for acceptance apologies of absence. We've got 2. We've got Councillor Aldridge, the chair of the council. He is working and away for work, so he can't make it. He would normally be chairing this meeting. And Councillor Preston, who was hoping to be here this evening, but due to ill health, is not able to make it. So we just need to note and accept apologies for absence from those 2 councillors. Can we just have a quick vote to say we're all in acceptance of that? Everybody, thank you very much. Item 3 on the agenda, declaration of councillors' interests and requests for dispensation. So this is a process where councillors call out if they've got any interests in any of the items on the agenda. So we'll go around the room in order. John? Sorry, John, could you just into the microphone?
I have no interest to declare.
Thank you. David?
Thanks, Paul. In relation to agenda item 11, I pay annual membership to Avon Wildlife Trust, but don't have any financial interest in them. And the nature of the agenda item is simply to comment on a report they've produced on a local wood. So I don't think I need to leave the room for that.
Okay, thank you, David. Agreed and noted. Tim,
No, nothing to declare.
thank you. Martin,
No interest to declare.
Mike,
None that I'm aware of.
Roger,
None that I'm aware of.
Janet,
None that I'm aware of.
Alan,
Yeah, none that I'm aware of.
None that I'm aware of.
and Bob.
None I'm aware of.
And for me, none that I'm aware of. So, thank you, everybody. We're going to move on now to agenda item 4, which is the chairman's update report. There's a slight change to this. There's an additional item on here. It does mention 4.1, which is street safe. We'll come to that in a minute. But we just want to add on there the Remembrance Day Parade. So just to give you an update on what's happening with the Remembrance Day Parade, well, the Remembrance celebrations over the weekend. So Saturday, the 11th of November at 10:45, there will be a gathering in the Waitrose Piazza. There is a farmer's market on at the same time, but apparently there are only 4 stalls, so they're not going to take up too much space. Weather forecast is not great, but hopefully we will still get a good crowd there. And then on Sunday, the 12th of November, is the main parade. The order that runs through. So the parade will assemble in the High Street at 10:15. 10:45 will be the act of remembrance will begin. 11 o'clock, a 2-minute silence, and then at 11:05 the parade will move off down the High Street. The parade will consist of, the Army cadets, the various emergency services, the Scouts, the Cubs, the guides, etc. It's a long procession, and it works its way down. The councillors will be out the front of the folk hall here, where we will accept the salute, and then we move across to St Peter's Church for the service. The roads will be closed, or some roads will be closed between 9:45 a.m. and 12:15 p.m. Any vehicle not moved before 9:45 will not be permitted to move until the roadworks are reopened again at 12:15. The roads affected will be Portishead High Street between Church Road South and Coombe Road. So that includes Stoke Road will be closed off, Church Road South with restricted access to the High Street, Brampton Way and Church Road North. Diversions will be via St Peter's Road, Slade Road and Coombe Avenue. North Somerset Council have given all the authorities for the road closures and closures of parking bays, and they will be barriered off from Thursday the 9th on the evening until Monday the 13th. Okay, that's that one. And it'll be lovely to see as many of you as can come along to that Remembrance Day Parade. It's very well attended, so we look forward to seeing everybody there. Item 2 on the chairman's update is in regards to a social media mobile app that has been put forward, and it's just an information piece. It's called Street Safe, and this is an app that allows you to report safety concerns in public places without giving your name, including issues such as poor lighting from the streets, abandoned buildings, vandalism, and just situations that you come across where you feel that they are unsafe and you want to report it. We recommend that residents look at that app as a way of just feeding back those areas of Portishead where you feel there are some concerns. Anybody got any points they want to make on that item before we move on? No? Okay, so we'll move on to item 5, which is public participation. So as I said, if anybody who wants to take part in the public participation, if they can step up to the microphone and make sure that the red light's on so we can hear you clearly. We'll just check online. We got Lisa Screen online. Lisa, do you have any comments you want to make? We will take that as a no. So if anybody wants to make any comment in part of public participation, put a hand up. Yes, if you could stand up to the microphone, if you could give us your name and the subject that you want to talk about, just so as we can note it, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Elaine Simmons Davis, and I'm here to speak about Gordano Stingrays Swimming Club. Can I just go? So yes, I'm here to hopefully, I don't know whether you can help us or support us, but we're looking to see if the town council can support our swimming club in any way possible. Historically, Portishead has only ever had a swimming club which is non-competitive. For years and years, I've had 4 children go through the system. They've always been directed out of the town to either Clevedon, Bristol, or Backwell if they want to continue their swimming and become competitive. So for years, I've spent many a year going over to Backwell 4 or 5 times a week, constantly, because there hasn't been a competitive club here. So pre-COVID, Andre, who's head coach here, decided to set up a competitive club within Portishead at Parish Wharf, and it has grown from strength to strength, which is fantastic. Over the last 2 years, we've had about 84 children. We've currently got about 48 with 3 or 4 on trial as well. Some of them have left us because they want to be competitive, but we are not yet competitive. Now, the issue we have is that you have to apply to Swim England to become affiliated to be able to compete. So we have gone through this process twice, and both times we've been rejected for a number of reasons. One being there's too many clubs in the area. The name was wrong, the pool was wrong, the pool space was wrong. So we are continuing, and we are looking to try and apply yet again, because the children are absolutely loving the swimming. They want to compete, they want to be able to get times. I know my youngest has now got county times unofficially because they're not counting with our times, and she's desperate to be able to continue and get county times, regional times, national times. They're doing amazingly. They just can't do it. So Swim England would like, obviously we want to apply again and hope that we can keep all our swimmers within Portishead's town and not send everybody outside of our town. And I feel that our town's big enough, fast growing, and every other sport that you do, dancing, music, football, netball, everything, they can compete. They're not our little swimming club, which is now not so little. So I think I don't know whether you can or whether you can help, but I think the minimum what we're looking for is maybe a letter to support. We've got letters coming from Parish Wharf to support us. I know that Portishead Amateur Swimming Club are getting behind us, and I know Backwell don't have an issue with us, and we're in negotiation with Clevedon. So we're just trying to have some supporting evidence to support our next application. Thank you.
Okay, any of the councillors got any questions? Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, you mentioned the hurdles, the Parish Wharf, the number of clubs in the area, and other things. Could you just be sort of a little bit more descriptive as to what these problems are? I mean, in terms of the Parish Wharf, I mean, it can't be.
Parish Wharf isn't a restriction. Am I back on?
Yeah.
Parish Wharf isn't a restriction. We currently we swim Sundays at Hengrove for pool space, and then we have a session on Monday and Wednesday and Thursday at Parish Wharf. They've been really accommodating, so that isn't an issue. But Swim England, on one of the rejections was that we're encroaching on the pool space. But Parish Wharf, it's not an issue with Parish Wharf at all. It's all their objections don't seem to be fitting, or there was a problem with the name, so we've now come up with Gordano. It's fitting for the area, but obviously we haven't gone back to them with all the new changes. We want to put all our ducks together, in a row, and get as much as we can to say why. If they do reject it again, I honestly can't believe that there would be any reason why Portishead, as our town, would not have a competitive club.
And when you get the rejections, do they actually come down and speak to you? And visit
No,
the
it's a
services?
real minimal email with bare minimum objections. We've, and did we appeal twice? We've appealed once or twice. And yeah, it's bare minimum. And even when they've said, and various reasons, they haven't come back to us with various reasons. We've tried and tried and tried. It's really frustrating. And yeah.
Oh, yes, Janet.
I think one of our officers, Nikki Mills, might be quite good to talk to.
Okay.
Do you agree, Paul?
I do, yes, and certainly in regards, you mentioned a letter from Portishead Town Council supporting this application. We can do that, and we'd be very pleased to do that. And please, if always approach us if you feel that there is a way that we can support.
Yeah, thank
just
you.
approach, and we'd be more than willing to consider.
That would be amazing. Thank you. That's, we didn't know what else to do, really.
Yeah. I think we've got Paul just wants to say something.
Paul Gardner, I'm a resident. I did a lot of work on getting the skate park. So we were successful in getting grants from Sport England and obviously the National Lottery. So if you want, I'm happy to have a look at your application. And so I'm used to dealing with these people. So if you want some help, I'm happy to help. So perhaps you could put us in touch.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you very, very much for letting us come and speak tonight. So that would be amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other residents in the folk hall want to?
Paul, can I just say that you haven't asked Carol for her?
I've got that on my next item. I've got that. I will go back because Carol has turned up yet. We have got your email, Paul, and we will come back to you. We'll go and we'll check those numbers. This is around the CCTV, yeah. So we will check the numbers and we will come back to you with email confirming the facts. Okay, thank you. We do also have a letter in from a resident that we've been asked to read out, is in part of public participation. A resident of Portishead is concerned about the lack of facilities in Portishead. She said that the town is becoming ageist. She said that it is bad enough that there is no post office and that the banks are closing. But there are also issues with the pharmacies in the town. She said that because there is another nursing home being planned and that the population is older, she thinks that the town council should be addressing this as a matter of urgency and would like this brought up at the next town council meeting. This resident is in her 70s and is lucky that she can use the internet and still drives. But there are also many elderly people in Portishead who are not able to use online services. Absolutely, yes.
Raina Knight. I keep being stopped in the high street by local residents. They're all very anxious to know whether there's any news at all about a post office. We are, after all, the second largest town in North Somerset, and we don't even have a post office. I had a letter from Lloyd's, because I happen to be a Lloyd's, I'm with them, and they told me that I can go to Pill, I can go to Clevedon, I can go anywhere you like, but I can't go to Portishead. So please, what can we do to get Portishead at least to get a post office, to get some sort of facilities for everybody, not just the elderly, but for everybody. And it's going to be even worse when Christmas comes. Thank you.
Thank you, Raina. And I think, Raina, you know, you mentioned there that you're being stopped by people in the high street. You know, it is a common message that we're hearing, the frustrations around the post office and the banks. So yeah, okay, noted. Thank you. If Ken, if you could please step up, just so as we capture your question.
I do silly things. I look at the stock exchange every day. I don't know why. I'm hoping to make more money, but there we go. NatWest is not doing well, ladies and gentlemen. NatWest is, well, let's call it this. You know, they're not doing well, and I think, in my opinion, they'll be the next to go down the road. So where do we go then? I've had my letter from Lloyd's, like Raina, telling me I can go to all these posh towns that are a lot smaller than Portishead, by the way. But the problem with Lloyd's is that the area head office is Clevedon. So obviously they were going to shut the Portishead branch because the head office for the area is Clevedon. But I'm telling you now, if things are looking glum, NatWest are not doing too well, and they might be the next to go. But is there any news on the post office at all?
There's nothing concrete on the post office. We are having discussions within the council. We are pressurising the various local authority, North Somerset. We are asking them to talk to the post office to see what can be done. And we are talking internally about maybe something that Portishead Town Council might be able to do, but it's very early.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. So I'll be able to go busking, right? Because that's the only way I'm going to get any money.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. Carol?
As a NatWest customer who doesn't like doing computers and things unless I happen to be at work when I'm forced to, I can tell you that the branch is utterly useless. It now consists mainly of machines. And if you want to open anything, talk to them about anything, or actually do anything, you will be directed to an online service to do that. So even though it looks like us NatWest customers still have a service here, I would dispute that.
Thank you, Carol. Roger, you had your hand up?
Yeah, no, I just want to say in response to Ken's question about what happens when if we finally lose NatWest. I think I reported at the last meeting, I'm not sure to what depth, but I'd spoken to Cash, I think it's called Cash Access UK, who commission banking hubs, which are then run by the post office into areas who have no post offices or banks. And of course, we have a bank, and whilst we have a bank, they won't step in. But they, as we only have one bank, we are on their watch list for an area to potentially move into if we lose that other bank. And I know we laughed about this last time round as well. So we've got to pray that we lose a bank so that we might get a banking hub. It's insane. but that's the way it is. There's nothing quick going on here. There's conversations between the councils at very early stages, which I guess we will share at some point when we've worked out what is and isn't possible. But yeah, it's not great. I was at Clapton Parish Council the other day. They have exactly the same problem because they use the banks and the post offices in Portishead. So it's not just Portishead residents, it's all around. Best I can do at the moment is recommend Pill and Clevedon. They are excellent post offices, but they're far too far away for people to use regularly. Sorry.
Thank you, Roger. Bob?
Yeah, just to give you some figures, currently there are 960 NatWests in the UK. 142 will be announced for 23 to 24. So yeah, I'm concerned just as much as everyone else in this room. I originally came from a town in Sussex. The same thing happened there. All the banks have now shut and the post office, and the high street is full of second-hand shops. And it's really sad to see, and that's what worries me about the high street of Portishead.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, any other comments, public participation? If not, we're just gonna very quickly nip back to agenda item 2, which was the apologies for absence. So if we can amend that, Councillor Preston is now here, and then back to agenda item 3, declaration of councillors' interest and request for dispensation. Carol?
None that I'm aware of.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to agenda item number 6, which is the North Somerset Councillors' report. So I'm going to ask Councillor Whitfield if he could give us his report.
Thank you very much. You'll all be pleased to hear that I've shortened it massively from last time, so hopefully it shouldn't take too long. I don't know if we should tell the members of the public that they don't actually have to sit through the rest of the meeting if they don't want to, but I'll go as quickly as I can on this one. So just to say, this month I've been to the Licensing Committee, Health and Wellbeing Board, Housing Policy and Scrutiny Panel, Corporate Parenting Masterclass, EV Strategy Working Party, Children and Young People's Services Policy and Scrutiny Panel, Bus Service Improvement Plan meetings, and the Police and Crime Commissioners Forum for my sins. And I've received information from all of those, and I've passed it on to my fellow councillors. I've helped residents with planning applications by liaising with planning officers. I've been working hard with my colleagues on the executive. We've been looking at the feedback that we got from the meetings where we came out to meet members of the public and get their feedback. We've been looking at that. We've been taking that feedback into account and redrafting the corporate plan, which will be ready for consultation back with members of the public again in the next few weeks. We have a consultation meeting in the diary now for Portishead, which is going to be on the 13th of December, where members of the executive will be along to take your views on the new draft of the corporate plan. Emma and Rhiannon are sorting out posters, which they are going to send out to all the town and parish councils, and hopefully we'll be able to put those posters up in places. If anyone's got any suggestions as to where they could go, that would be great. And if people could pass this date on, the 13th of December, in the folk hall here for the next engagement session to as many people as possible, because last time round there was lots of complaints of people saying that they didn't know about it. So we'll put it out in all the usual places, but if everyone... I don't... Paul Morby said the door was locked. Chris Clark came in half an hour late and he got in, so I'm not sure what happened there, but apologies if you couldn't get in. I've been liaising with officers regarding departmental savings plans that are required as part of the medium-term financial plan. This is where we set the budget and deal with the money down at North Somerset. I'm in charge of adult services, and we've identified about 78% of the required savings, and we've got meetings going on with departmental heads to make further savings in that area, and all the other departments are doing the same at the moment to make sure that North Somerset is on a sound financial footing and can stay within its means. Unfortunately, we don't know what the new council tax is going to be yet because the government haven't shared that with us. So we're working on estimates, but we are doing our best on that. Councillor Charles has been chairing the Standing Advisory Council on Religious Education. He's been lobbying regarding building targets in the local plan. He's also been involved in the bus service improvement plan meetings, advising the executive on community engagement approaches and dealing with residents' concerns about parking and speeding. That's mainly in East Ward, I believe. Councillor Holland's been working with residents on various issues in her ward. Councillor Snaden has been dealing with recycling collection problems in North Ward, which is up the top of the hill, I think, isn't it, Tim? There seems to be failed collections due to ongoing issues with access due to cars being parked on corners, making it impossible for recycling lorries to access the street. He's investigating with the operator why it is that some lorries can access the street and others can't. So they say they can't access the street, but some are getting down. So that's being looked into at the moment. He tells me that North Somerset Council have recently invested £18,000 in GPS trackers for residents with dementia, so they can be found if they wander off or get lost. This will help to keep some of our most vulnerable residents safe. Councillor Snaden has asked for additional no overnight parking signs for Lake Road, as it seems that the overnight campers who were camping by the bowling green have been displaced by the no overnight parking signs that have been put there. So he's asked for that to happen as well. He's also been working with residents of North Ward, helping with their concerns over planning applications. And that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Ken, yeah, if you've got a question, by all means, if you could step up to the mic, please.
Can you explain to me why North Somerset gives my address to a private company and everybody else's address in Portishead to sell me solar panels? I haven't given North Somerset permission to do that. Why did they do that? Everybody in Portishead probably had a letter from some private company to try and sell solar panels.
Okay,
My address is not to be given out by North Somerset.
I haven't had it. If you'd like to pass that on to me, I'll have a look and see whether or not that came from North Somerset. Well, I'll
the Eco Warriors on North Somerset. I'll pass it on to you. My address is my address, not used by North Somerset. I'll pay them a lot of money.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks for the update, Roger. Okay, we're going to move on now to. Oh, I am so sorry, Sue. Sue, if you'd like to step up to the microphone. I do apologise, Sue. Hiding at the end.
Right. I have a correction to add to the previous minutes. Is that not under me, but I know it was mentioned, was the word rack, which in the minutes is RACK, but it's actually referring to the reinforced autoclaved aerated concrete, which is RAC, which is RAAC in capitals. Thank you very much. I also have been busy at North Somerset, but most of the meetings I've been to have been online, which has been rather useful. I have only yesterday been at a meeting talking about North Somerset and ward profiles, which have been updated. There was 2 meetings, one last week and one this week. And now that the district councillors have been updated, today all of that information is now on North Somerset's website, and it is very, very detailed. So do have a look, because it is done, as I say, by ward and by town and everything else. So yes, it's really worth having a look. I've also done my monthly surgery, which is the first Tuesday in the month at the library from 10:30 to 11:30. And I have had a variety of people, not necessarily just from the top where I am in West Ward, but in all over Portishead. So it's always nice to talk to people and try and help them if I can. I've also been on a carbon literacy course, organised by North Somerset, which was very interesting. That was two half days. I was at the bus service meeting last night here in this hall. As Roger has said, there has been bus improvement meetings, which have been, again, interesting, and they are trying very hard to make buses more on time, more frequent, more buses, and obviously wanting more people to use them. I've also been to a meeting about social workers, which there is a national shortage of, and there is a shortage in North Somerset. And so it was a meeting about recruitment and retention, and that is ongoing at the moment. And I will also be going to an Alliance Homes Councillor event very shortly. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sue. And thanks for the agenda item that you picked out. So the minutes item, sorry. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 7, which is to consider and approve the minutes of the last meeting. Draft minutes of the meeting have been sent out. There are 2 amendments. The first one is on the bottom of page 2, where it talks about became a national wage employer. That should be national living wage. So that amendment is being made. And then the one that Sue pointed out, which was a comment that Ken made at the last meeting around the rack concrete. And so what we will do, we will put forward a recommendation for members to consider and approve the minutes of the full council meeting held on the 13th of September 2023, and for the chairman to sign the minutes as a correct record. With those couple of amendments in mind, can we have a proposer? Bob Cartwright. Can we have a seconder? Councillor Gunnell. And then if we can have a vote, if everybody is happy. Emma, you were online. Yeah. You were online. Yeah. Okay, right. If we can have a vote, if the minutes are accepted. We're all good. Okay, thanks everybody for that. Agenda item 8, motions from town councillors. We have, just on the last item, I will sign those. I'll sign those minutes off at the end of the meeting. agenda item 8, motions from town councillors. We've got a couple that have been put in. We've got a first one, which is a motion to look at public participation and engagement. The motion is for the council to investigate new ways to engage with the public, to encourage them to participate in council meetings. The recommendation was proposed by Roger Whitfield and seconded by myself. And the recommendation is to set up a public participation and engagement working party to review public participation and engagement and report back to the council with recommendations to improve public participation and engagement in all meetings arranged by the council. Has anybody got any questions that they wish to raise on this? Well, no, in which case then we will move to a recommendation to set up a public participation and engagement working party to review public participation and engagement and report back to the council with recommendations to improve public participation and engagement in all council meetings arranged by the council. As just need to check something. So do we need a proposer and a seconder, or we need a new? Yeah. Okay. We've got a proposer, which is Roger Whitfield. We've got a seconder, which is myself. So we just need a vote from the councillors, please. Okay, that's all there. Yeah, okay, so we need to now agree the working group. As the proposer, Roger, this obviously is in your sort of area. So are you thinking of any particular councillors in the working group?
No, obviously me. As soon as I proposed that, I should throw my hat into the ring to be part of that. I don't think we need a massive group of councillors on this one. I think we need a core group because we're going to be talking to all councillors. We're going to be talking to residents. We're going to be talking to lots of different groups about what they want from their council, what they expect from meetings, things like that. So we really need just a core group of people who can put together an agenda for investigating properly the way that that people want public participation to work. So I think I don't think it's going to be an overnight thing. I think we're going to have to take some time to engage properly with the public with this. So somebody, if you want to be involved, please put your name forward. Please expect it to take a number of months to go through all of this. And please expect to be involved in a number of meetings with members of the public over those months as well. But yes, I'm not really selling it, am I? But if we could have a couple of people, that would be a good start.
Okay, thank you. So if any of the councillors want to be involved in that, let's put your hand up, I guess. Okay, so we've got a couple of options. We've got Emma and Bob, and I think from an officer point of view, it sits well with the community engagement officer. Would be the obvious one there. So, are you happy with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, so can we have a proposer for the working party to consist of Roger, Emma, Bob, and the community engagement officer? We've got Martin and a seconder. We've got John. Okay, we need to vote. And if we can just vote on that, please. Everybody in favour? It's unanimous. Thank you. The second motion is antisocial behaviour. So again, this was a recommendation proposed by Roger Whitfield, seconded by Bob Cartwright. So Roger, would you like to take us through this one?
Yeah, certainly. Thank you. I don't know if anyone's from the public has looked at the minutes. There's a map supplied from North Somerset in there showing instance of antisocial behaviour that's been reported, and there's a big red dot on Portishead. I think it's quite well known that we are suffering at the moment from antisocial behaviour. As a town council, there are potentially things that we can do about it. We just need to take a look and see what our options are. And to that end, there is the Councillor James Clayton, who's the executive member for safety in the community, down at North Somerset, who has a number of options that I think the town council should consider. And what I'm asking is for him to be invited along to one of our meetings to explain to us what our options are to deal with antisocial behaviour as a council. I mean, obviously the police deal with certain antisocial behaviour aspects, but as a council we also have a responsibility. So it's just a case of inviting them along to explain to us what options we have, and then we can make an informed decision from there if need be.
Okay, thank you, Roger. Any questions? Yes, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. I would also expect and hope that a representative from the police force could attend the meeting.
Sorry, was that a question?
No, a statement, really.
Yeah, I think we have
a request.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should have a request in to invite a representative of the police to a meeting, whether or not that one or another one. It depends if we can line them up properly, doesn't it? But yeah, I mean, would you want to propose an amendment that we change the wording to invite James Clayton and also a representative of the police? That might make sense.
Yes,
Yep.
I'm happy to do that.
Yep.
I'll second that if you want to.
Okay. So recommendation is to make an amendment to, sorry, Sue.
Thank you. Yes, this has been discussed actually at a meeting that I was at North Somerset this week, and I know that they are looking at that sort of all over North Somerset, and Portishead was most certainly mentioned at the meeting that I was at, and so if I can liaise with you, I can perhaps give you a little bit more details as well.
Thank you, Sue.
Okay, so we have, first off, we've got a recommendation to amend the recommendation to invite Councillor James Clayton, Executive Member for the Safety in the Community, and his officers, as well as a representative from the police, to attend the next council meeting to discuss what options are available to Portishead Town Council to deal with the problem of antisocial behaviour. Sorry, Alan, did you have a question?
Well, no, it's more of a statement, really. In regards to that, I think it's probably quite appropriate to invite Donna Fielding, who's the new outreach officer from the Portishead Youth Club. She mediates between ourselves and the police, doesn't pass information on, and is targeting the user who causing the antisocial behaviour, mainly youth, let's say, in the Portishead area. So she's the ideal person to have along for this, for ideas and suggesting what can be done rather than rely on the police to sort it out.
Okay, so in your view, would that be instead of a police representative or as well as?
Well, as well as.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so amend the recommendation to invite Councillor James Clayton, a representative of the police, and Donna Fielding to attend the next council meeting to discuss what options are available to Portishead Town Council to deal with the problem of antisocial behaviour. Okay, so can we have a proposer and a seconder? Okay, and can we put that to the vote, please? All in favour? Thank you. Thank you. We will move on to agenda item 9, Code of Conduct. Oh, hold on just 1 second.
Just want to pause for 1 minute, just in case anybody does want to leave.
Yeah, by all means, you know, if I,
No, not.
no, you are more than welcome to leave or stay if you would like. Okay. Yes, Mike.
In respect to the last vote, I'm a little bit concerned that the discussion that could ensue between these representatives could take considerable time within a town council meeting, and I'm just wondering, aloud, so to speak, as to whether it's an appropriate place to have the full meeting. I appreciate that pre-seed type of arrangement could be made, but yeah, I'm just thinking of the timescales involved in the public meeting. Is there a way around this, or?
Yeah. So the clerk has just advised that it's more likely that we would arrange a meeting prior to the full council meeting to go through all those details and then bring them into the full council meeting to present a summarised view.
I think that'd be much more appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Okay, agenda item 9, Code of Conduct. Hopefully this was in the pack that went out to all the councillors. Hopefully everybody has read this this very short Code of Conduct. It is, to all intents and purposes, the same Code of Conduct, but with a lot more detail around how and why and when. It just gives us a better understanding of how each of the items within the Code of Conduct works and what it's there to do. Does anybody have any questions or concerns around the Code of Conduct that they want to raise? David.
I mean, it also is very sensible to me. I think the only note of clarity that you might want to add before it goes up on our website is who the monitoring officer is. I imagine it will be Wendy. Or something. Because it talks about referring issues to. So, just for clarity.
Okay, thank you, David. Any other comments? No. Okay. So we will move to the recommendation to adopt the Local Government Association Model Code of Conduct 2020 and to approve the guidance on Local Government Association Councillor Code of Conduct for local councils. Can we have a proposer? We've got Roger and a seconder. We've got Emma. And then if we can have a vote, please. Show of hands. That's unanimous. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. That one. We move on to agenda item 10. And this is notice of the resignation of one town councillor. So Miss Francesca Stone resigned as a councillor as of the 31st of October 2023. Statutory notice is displayed and available to view in the Town Council notice boards and on the Town Council website. This is a real unexpected and sad case. So for those who know, Miss Stone worked for the emergency services. She was been working towards a new role within that team. and that requires her to go through some training. And unfortunately, the emergency services have put a very, very firm line on that she cannot be a town councillor during that training phase. And so she has had to resign with immediate effect. She was very, very sad to have to do that, but it's a notice. It's out there. It's displayed on the notice boards, and it's on the council website. Moving on to agenda item 11, Weston Bigwood Woodland Management Plan. So this is another hefty document. Hopefully everybody has had a chance to go through it. It's very detailed. It's been pulled together by a consultant on behalf of Avon Wildlife to look at their woodland, or to put together a woodland management plan for Weston Bigwood. It's currently being prepared for it to be finalised on behalf of Avon Wildlife. As part of this process, Portishead Town Council, Weston Ingordano Parish Council are identified as local community stakeholders. As the woodland straddles the town and parish boundaries, the plan is proposing a significant work programme to improve the habitat provision within the woodland, taking into account the sensitivities and designations present. The main objective of the plan is to maintain and enhance the biodiversity aspects of the woodland and to address the threat of ash dieback. The plan seeks approval from the Forestry Commission of England and from Natural England in accordance with the UK Forestry Standard. As I said, the plan, the draft plan is there for everybody to review. Have we all had a chance to review it? And does anybody have any notes that they would like to make? David.
And as I said at the beginning of the meeting, I'm an AWT member, but I don't think being an AWT member affects my comments. I have three thoughts about the report, which I thought was very thorough. It's the first report of its sort I've ever seen, so it's a learning experience. But obviously the woods are something dear to the hearts of many people in Portishead. So I thought the guys who done this did a really good job. I just wondered, and it may not be appropriate to do so, that given recent concerns about developments near the woods, should we suggest that Avon Wildlife Trust put something in the report about recommended boundaries between the edge of the woodlands and any development, so it's there in writing. Secondly, this is a bit small grain, but I think there's at least one historic boundary marker in the woods, which is, if you go on Wikipedia, you can see a site noting the boundary marker. I think it marks the boundary with Bristol City Council.
Is this CB stones?
Yeah.
There are about 8 up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that should, as they're historic, quite old landmarks, they should probably be put into the report just to note that they're there. And the third thing is there are a couple of mentions in the report of regularly inspecting, regularly reviewing safety. I just wondered whether they could be a bit more specific about how often. Does that mean every year? I mean, regularly could mean every 10 years or every 20 years. I think perhaps we could ask them to be a little bit more specific. Is it every 5 years, every year, every 10 years?
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. We've got Mike. Yeah.
Thank you. It was a very interesting read. I learned quite a bit, and it's a great asset. We're all very familiar with it. I was, like David, concerned about the possibility of more traffic going into the woods if development happens. But one thing that was, of course, mentioned in the report was the mountain bikes getting in there and causing a bit of damage. And notwithstanding, of course, ash dieback and other diseased trees, it was clearly a problem for them. And one of the other things I thought of in relation to the outcome was the financial implications involved in the works that are obviously going to have to be carried out. I mean, clearly the ash has got to come down at some point if it's a particular danger to the public, especially where the main rides are and the walk and the through route around the woods. So are they likely to come to ask us for financial assistance perhaps, because it would be certainly worthy of consideration should that come about?
Very good questions, Mike. And I know that they've already completed a lot of work on taking down the ash certainly through the bottom half of Western Bigwood. They've not approached us for any funding for that. But yeah, there is a lot of work within this plan. So I guess we do need to keep in mind that they may come to us. Just 1 second, Ken. If you've got a question, Paul's got something he wants to make, and then we'll come to you.
The woodland itself, Ken, is owned by Avon Wildlife Trust. Yeah, they own the actual woods. I just wanted to build on David's points. As you know, Paul, anyway, obviously the council had a report done last year around about Western Bigwood and the buffer zones, which obviously is just as important for the future health of the wood and all the wildlife. So I would suggest that the council maybe share that report with Avon Wildlife Trust. So they've got all that, and if they can expand their brief a little bit, I think that would be very helpful in terms of warding off future unwanted development next to the woods. The other point was just a question really. There's a lot of yellow highlighted text in the report. Does anyone know what that means? No, it's not. Okay, fine. All right, thank you.
Thank you. So with those comments noted, the recommendation is to formulate comments and questions to be returned no later than the first week of December. Back on this, and I agree with that we should include that report. So maybe we could amend the recommendation to formulate comments and questions to be returned no later than the first week in December 2023 to include the biodiversity report that Portishead Town Council commissioned. So if we can have a proposer, we've got Bob Cartwright and a seconder, Martin, and we have a vote on that. Okay, thank you. And we will need to formulate that response so we can sit down and go through that. Okay, thank you. Agenda item 12 is just a statement. It's the office opening times over the soon to be up on us festive season. Town Council festive season office opening hours are as follows. 18th to the 21st of December, office will be open as normal. Office will be closed from the 22nd to the 29th of December and closed on the 1st of January, and then 2nd of January the office reopens with normal hours. Any questions on that? No. Okay. Agenda item 13, finance. We've got a number of items here that we need to receive and approve. So I will run through them. John, who's Staffing and Finance Chair, will answer if anybody's got any questions. Hopefully everybody's had the opportunity to go through each of those reports. So 13.1, to receive and approve the list of payments totaling 84,600 made in September 2023. This was included on 3 papers. Anybody got any questions on that one? No. 13.2, to receive and approve the list of payments totaling £54,531 made in October 2023. Again, that's included in 3 papers within the pack. Any questions?
I'll ask a question, please.
Oh, sure, Mike.
The playground inspection fees do seem to be hugely. I just don't understand why they're so expensive. Thousands.
Mike, there are, as you probably are aware, there are a lot of play areas. There's a lot of inspections that are required to be completed under health and safety. Can't speak, and that does build up. But your point is noted.
They're in the September and October. They appear under GB Sport and Leisure playground inspection September, and 3,238, and the previous month was about 1,100 or something.
Yeah, there are a number of weekly inspections that go in there, Mike, and yeah, but they are part of the business as usual assessments and checks that have to be carried out.
Can perhaps one of us go around on one of the occasions, the inspection, and you know, just see what they do?
Yep. Are you putting yourself forward to do that, Mike?
Can do.
Okay. We will pick that up with the officer.
Thank you.
And we'll get the officer to send across the schedule, and then you can see what best fits with your diary.
Okay, thanks.
The next finance report is 13.3, to receive and approve the cash and investment reconciliation statements for October 2023. Any questions? Okay. 13.4, to receive and consider the detailed income and expenditure statement for October 2023. It's 1 paper. No questions. And 13.5, to note that the 2023 pay agreement for the National Joint Council for Local Government Services, often referred to as Green Book and JC, has been finalised. The rates apply with effect from the 1st of April 2023, and back pay will therefore be due to that date. Anybody got any questions on that before we move to? No. Okay. Okay, so the recommendation on agenda item 13. I'm just going to run through these all as one, and then we'll get a proposer and a seconder, and then we'll vote as all. So to approve the list of payments totaling 84,600 made in September 2023. To approve the list of payments totaling 54,531 made in October 2023. To approve the cash and investment reconciliation statements for October 2023. To receive the detailed income and expenditure statement for October 2023. To note that the 2023 pay agreement for the National Joint Council for Local Government Services, often referred to as Green Book, NJC, has been finalised. The rates apply with effect from the 1st of April 2023 and back pay will therefore be due to that date. Can we have a proposer, John, and a seconder? We've got Roger. And can we have a show of hands? Mike? Okay.
I'll abstain in view of my comment.
Understood. Thanks, Mike. Okay, thank you. Brings us to agenda item 14, which is the date of the next meeting. The date of the next meeting of the Town Council is Wednesday, the 10th of January at 7:30. Oh, yeah. Just a very quick one, please. Thank you.
Just to say that this setup you've got is pretty naff. I'd be pretty peeved off if I was a councillor looking at somebody's back.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Or I was a councillor having to keep looking around all the time to see what the chairman was said. Just an observation.
A good one. The last meeting we were in a V shaped and it was so much better.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. We
And
if I
can
can
just add something
Oh.
to what Paul has said, very, very briefly. When David was talking, he was obviously turning round to you as the chair, but it meant therefore he was not speaking into the mic, and having a very quiet voice, it was very difficult to hear, and I'm sure probably would not be picked up very well for the actual recording.
Thanks, Sue. We'll check that out. But yeah, this setup is new, as you will all, as those regular attendees will know. It's not been like this before. It's an experiment. We've got some new cameras. We're trying out some new layouts, and we will continue to try and get this correct. And we've noted your comment, Paul and Sue.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, it's not the first time we've been in this situation. We were here about 2 meetings ago, and then we put into the V, which was successful, like the old council days. And I don't understand why we've gone back to this tonight.
Thank you, Mike. Noted. Good comment. And just finally, Ken, yeah, you just wanted. Okay. Ken, I've got a copy of it here. You can have it. I know you would have probably preferred it before, but you're welcome to these. You can take them with you. And your comment is noted that you normally get a schedule of payments. Yeah. Understood. And it's noted. Thank you. And we are looking to just sort of wrap things up. So Roger, final comment.
Yeah, can I just ask on the back of that comment that for future meetings we just make a couple of physical copies available to members of the public, at least so that there's something here for when people come in who may for one reason or another be digitally excluded.
We do produce a couple of physical copies. They are available. But Ken, we will make sure that they are in a more prominent position. So as when residents come in, if they want to pick one up, they can. Okay, thank you. So it is 8:44, and I will bring the meeting to a close. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to those residents that turned up today. Thanks, everybody. Good night.